Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching, as always, on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our affiliates across the country. Busy hour coming up. In 15 minutes, we'll get into today's Major League Baseball card. Bottom of the hour, professional gambler Blair Rodman in studio. New book out, all about sports betting. Going to be a great listen and interview with him coming up at that time, Pauly. Here, we're going to start off the hour with 5 bold predictions in the National Football League this year.
Uncle Buck always said playing cards around the house, be bold. Go big. We're going to try to do it right now. For only the 4th time since 2002, no team will go worst to first. I'm surprised it's minus $2 at DK. The candidates that stick out, Detroit and New Orleans. Paul Bovey was on last week. He's down on Detroit. I think they're going to be improved, but again, it's much to do about the schedule. But in a tough division, I could see Minnesota or Chicago, maybe or Green Bay edging them out. Could be a key injury, who knows? And then the Saints in a wacky division after how well Shuck played, coming off a 6-11 season. But a lot of love for Tampa. Baker Mayfield says we're going to shock the world. What happens in Carolina? Begging Atlanta to improve offensively. And Penix finally cleared to do 11-on-11 drills. But only the 4th time since 2002, no team will go worst to first.
Who wins those 2 divisions then?
I'm going to say Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Big number there.
Yep. And it's a lot based on the coaching staff and the fact that they won 9 games last year. And I'll still stick with Tampa, even though they stuck at my ear last year. I'll come back with Tampa Bay. Too much talent on offense.
Okay.
I'll pivot here on the spot. Seattle misses the playoffs, and the 49ers miss the playoffs.
Both.
Seattle, they're going to miss Kubiak. They're going to miss Walker. And then can Sam Darnold do it again as everyone's gunning for you? Not a lot of talk about him, though, right? Out of a defending champ, where it's more about the Rams and every other team in the NFC like Chicago and who can come out of there, and not much talk about. And then sometimes you just have to say, you know what, Mitch, sometimes it's not our year. And everything. Already with the injuries, your head coach gets in a car accident, and then your owner trying to pick up some skank for $140 at a trailer park gets arrested over the weekend, and you have to come out with a press release if the guy's going to show up in East Palestine, Ohio.
The least amount of preseason hype for a defending champion since what team? I would honestly have to go back and look.
The 0-1 Patriots?
Maybe. Maybe it's been that long.
I know, everyone's kind of saying the same thing. Great story. Okay, Sam, do it again.
Do it again.
And the Rams are going to win 15 games.
Sure.
Right? I kind of see what Lou's getting at with losing the center, but it feels like, again, one and done for the Ravens as the window's closed and they miss their chance. Going 14-2, losing as a double-digit favorite at home to Tennessee, hosting the AFC title game against the Chiefs and favored, couldn't get it done. -3 in the turnover differential when you outplayed Buffalo, and then Andrews with the critical drop, Lamar Jackson with the fumble. You couldn't even make the playoffs last year. You get rid of Tucker and you bring in the new kid wide right against Pittsburgh. It just feels like the division's too strong, the AFC's too strong, and it's not going to work out for the Ravens. The Browns are one of the worst teams in the league and should be lined with Miami and Arizona. A text from one of my guys in Cleveland: bad defense, no depth, both quarterbacks stink, fade them all season long.
Well, he's wrong. The defense is absolutely not bad.
Well, we'll see what he says tomorrow. He thinks it's a bad defense, but in any event, I just think it's going to be and also, you're admitting your mistake, but you're also tying it into number one. And I wrote it yesterday that you cannot start Watson. Now it's like, after he struggles in the first 2 weeks, go to Sanders, and that's it for Watson. They have to sit there and take this after the sins of the organization and ownership, what they did. Bad enough the contract, then you gave up 3 number ones, and then you're going to put out there and say he gives us the best chance to win, even though he doesn't. And what's the point of drafting Sanders anyways? You got to sit through.
Here's what's going to happen. Watson's going to start the first 2 games. It's going to be as ugly as everybody thinks. Right. They're going to be forced to go to Sanders, and it's going to get worse. Then they'll say panic move. Let's see what Gabriel has. Then it's going to be all-time bad, and then they're going to go back to Watson, and then they'll play the quarterback carousel the entire year. That's my prediction for what's going to happen with the Browns. No matter who they put in there, the offense is going to look absolutely dreadful.
Probably how it goes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. There it is.
Oh, you had number one?
But they can't start. They shouldn't start Watson.
Okay. All right.
And I like what Kevin Clark said too about pathetic, and why didn't do this charade with the first two games, like it's being deemed as an audition, because you know how bad it's going to be week 3 when you come back home.
Right.
He said it.
Right.
You know what it's going to be. It's 17 road games.
My bold predictions entering the year. I don't know how bold this is, but Bill Barnwell today, ESPN, wrote about his 5 teams to improve from last year. One of them was the New York Giants. Well, they won 4 games. I'm going to say the Giants disappoint this year, and it's not going to go well for John Harbaugh. And people at the end of this year will start to question whether or not he still has his fastball or not. Because it's going to be tied into how poorly it ended in Baltimore. And again, difficult schedule overall. Guys can't stay healthy. Let me rephrase. Coming off of severe injuries, I like the front 7, the front 4 especially. Secondary question marks absolutely remain. Good weapons overall, but tough schedule, and they're going to win. A disappointing year is for this team to stay under their win total, which is what they're going to do.
6 wins is a disappointment, no doubt. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. 7, too.
The Chargers will flop again.
Oh, no.
Yep. That's a tough division. Yeah. If Mahomes plays a full year. Broncos, I don't know how good the Broncos are going to be, but at least they're a solid team. Injuries already happening on the offensive line. I know you've talked about it a couple of times already. All the makings here for this team should be outstanding, but I can't get over that schedule that they have from weeks 3 through 10. We're all talking about the Cardinals' difficult schedule. The Chargers, I hope they start 2-0. The play at that point is going to come back and fire on a win total under based on their schedule from weeks 3 through 10. It's one of the most difficult stretches you're ever going to get. And oh, by the way, their rest disadvantage this year, overall 24 games, 24 days, that's the second most since Warren Sharp's been tracking this stuff. Going all the way back 20, 25 years. And I think we're going to be asking the question again this year, Herbert's not going to get a pass anymore, right? This is a tweet from Richard Eng.
No. Can't do it.
What's that?
You can't give him give him a pass. You're right.
Richard Eng, longtime horse racing aficionado. In fact, he wrote Betting on Horse Racing for Dummies. He says, long shot, but if McCarthy gets cut, Harbaugh picks him up with the Chargers. Nobody knows him any better. My bold prediction number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs will be a finalist for the league MVP. Now, this is something, and I love that they're doing this, and I would encourage every sports book to do the same thing. At Kelce, you can bet on which player will be a finalist for certain awards. Now, there's no liquidity in those markets yet, but there will be at some point. And I would like to take a big number on Jahmyr Gibbs to be one of the finalists to win the MVP this year. It has all the makings again with this super soft schedule. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the focal point. You've heard this 1,000 times over and over and over, but this is the team that I had circled based on their opponents many, many months ago. And this dude potentially is sitting on 23, 24, 2,500 yards from scrimmage, pushing 90 catches, 22, 25 touchdowns, something like that. And if those numbers are hit, he'll be a finalist to win the MVP. Another bold prediction. Another year of losing for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And by that, I mean not winning the AFC. Mm-hmm. They haven't done it yet, and I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to get done. I don't think this is the year for either one of those guys. And Lamar has been blamed ad nauseum, going all the way back to that 2019 loss against Tennessee, even though they had 500-plus yards. This is the year if it doesn't get done. I just said that about Herbert. People are really going to start to question Josh Allen. Fair or unfair, I know he's been good in a bunch of playoff losses. Last year was not one of them. He was a disaster against the Broncos. But also, these windows don't stay open forever. And it has to happen sooner or later, or else it's not going to happen. And my boldest prediction of the entire year, Paul Howard, is that your Dallas Cowboys...
No, you're not.
...make the NFC title game.
Oh, my God. Get out of here.
Hasn't happened in 3 decades.
They're the only team.
Yeah.
They're the only team in the NFC that hasn't made the title game in 30 years.
This is their year.
How about that?
Even though the NFC is loaded, especially when you compare it to the AFC. No.
That's impossible.
Not to happen for that long.
They're the only team. Every other team in the NFC has made the title game.
Yeah, that's one of the most incredible stats going back for sure. Total indictment on Jerry Jones and how he runs the team as well. But
wow.
I can say this with total confidence. The offense will be top 2, top 3 in the league this year. Prescott might be in the mix to win the MVP. If he stays healthy, he could. And I just, again, kind of like what I said about the Texans earlier, I'm buying that C.J. Stroud's going to be a little bit better. I think the defense is going to be better than the worst in the entire league last year.
You're going to put Hurts on that list too? About
now or never?
Yeah, because I know he has a Super Bowl, but you can't blame anyone else now. It's A.J. Brown's fault. Oh, it's the offensive coordinator's fault. That's right. It's Sirianni's fault.
I'd like to just see Jalen Hurts bounce back after having I know the numbers were not awful. I think it was, 25 touchdowns, 6 INTs, but Paul, they went several times where is he going to complete a pass in the second half?
Yeah. Remember, yeah.
Like that actually happened.
Sal said the offensive issues were all him. College football guides out, week 0 Saturday. Preview of every team. Humans, Stone, preseason top 10. Proven betting systems, best bets, ton of win totals. And with VSiN Pro, you also get the NFL betting guide, the Fantasy Life Fantasy Football Guide, real-time betting splits, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the Watch app. Try it today, just $9.99. Lock in a full year. Save 50% with the VSiN Pro annual subscription. Head to vsin.com/subscribe now. vsin.com/subscribe. Good portal, too, up there with Adam Burke with everything with these 8 or 9 college games on Saturday. Check it out.
And Chelsea did hang on, by the way, against Fulham. They won that match 3-2 to begin. Meatman had the money line.
Yeah, good start.
That's right.
Yep.
Up next, we'll hit on today's Major League Baseball card. He is 6-1 with a 1.19 career ERA at the park in which he is pitching tonight. Find out which starter next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, Blair Rodman in studio. Longtime gambler. In fact, he hasn't had a job in more than 40 years. All About Sports Betting is the book. Going to be a fun conversation with him. Here we go, tonight's Major League Baseball card. The guy I was talking about before the break is Ranger Suarez. I'll get to those numbers coming up in a second. But his team, the Red Sox, Pauly, they have won 3 straight. And now get this. Their 6.5 game lead for the final wildcard spot is bigger than their deficit to the Rays in the American League East. How about that?
There's a lot of races now, and a lot of teams we thought, okay, they're going to win that division. This is heating up. The Yankees only 3 back.
Yep.
Seattle's terrible. They're 62-69, but Seattle's only 3 games back, and they have that joke schedule in September. And Houston just fired their GM today.
That's right.
They lost 2 out of 3 at home to the A's, and they had all the problems with the Angels. So, I mean, these teams are under 500. They're a mess. And and here come the Phillies now. They've won 9 in a row, and they're only 3 back of Atlanta.
Yep. And in this Red Sox-Marlins game, Suarez is opposed by Sandy Alcantara, a 2.69 home ERA in 12 starts versus 4.11 in 15 road starts, 0.98 whip at home. Suarez, his ERA is 2.75 on the road versus 4.14 at Fenway. And it is Ranger Suarez, who is 6-1 with a 1.19 ERA, 9 career starts at Lone Depot Park. 53 innings pitched, 7 earned runs. In 7 of those 9 starts, he allowed no more than 1 run. Get this, Boston has 10 sweeps this year, including 8 in their last 16 series overall. It's incredible what's going on with Sandy.
Yeah, and also everything works for Boston right now. Like Mickey Gasper, whatever, calling guys up, hitting home runs.
Yep.
Guys with ERAs of coming up from Pawtucket, getting it done. It's crazy the season they've had and who's producing.
Miami has lost 5 of Sandy's last 8 starts, despite the righty recording a 2.21 ERA and averaging 6.2 innings per outing. Brutal with the run support there for Alcantara.
Yeah.
This one it's such a low total of 7, though. I wish it was like 7.5, 8 to go under, but 7 feels like it's unbettable to me.
That's the same thing with Messick coming up later tonight, and Cleveland now is right there after their sweep. He's $1.60 against the Angels, but he doesn't get any run support.
Nope.
So for whatever reason, when he's out there, they don't hit. But he's up to 160 in one of 6 late games on the card tonight.
Let me give you his numbers. So he lost 1-0 to the Giants last Wednesday. Yeah. He allowed 1 run in 6 2/3, and he had 10 strikeouts. Cleveland has been held scoreless in 3 of his last 5 starts, including each of his past 2. Get this, Paul. Cleveland has won 13 of his 25 starts this year, but the club has only scored 23 runs in his 12 losses or his 12 defeats. And his ERA overall is 2.54. That is 6th overall in Major League Baseball. That's completely embarrassing.
Yep.
Should have a much better fate than this.
Yep. Early on, it was Bybee. Now it's being transferred over to Messick.
All right.
Or the guy who's not getting run support. There's a hot shot. There's a lot of games here where they're sticking out like a sore thumb on what to bet and what the numbers. Let's see if it works out. Rasmussen and the Rays. They're in a funk now. They've lost 7 of 10. But Rasmussen has won 6 in a row. 6-0 with a 2-3-1. What's happened to Detroit? The wheels are off. They've lost 8 of 9. And I don't know what you're going to get out of Valdez. Rasmussen's only $1.20 on the road. And another one.
Well, let me hold on.
Yeah.
Valdez, here's the deal. In his last 2 starts against the Rays, he won both. He allowed 2 runs and only 6 hits in 14 and 2/3 innings. He also struck out 9 batters in each of those starts.
Sometimes he gets lit up in the first inning, though. You don't know what you're going to get. He's allowed 4 earned runs or more, 10 of his 25 starts. And then can you get to the window with Cavalli and the Nationals, who are up to $2? It's Feltner and the Rockies, but this guy is, look at these numbers, 6-1 with an ERA of 1.98 in his last 8 starts and a ton of strikeouts. So even though they're not playing good ball, they're taking out a bottom feeder and a horrible pitcher.
Yep.
But he is plus money on the run line tonight at 3:45 Pacific.
Okay. Well, at least we get a good pitching matchup between the Phillies and the Mariners tonight. Like you said, Philadelphia, they've won 9 straight. They're 3 behind of Atlanta right now in that division. Mm-hmm. They also have a 2-game lead over San Diego for the 5 seed. For what it's worth, they have the most wins in August as of right now by 1 over the Padres. Wheeler is better at home than he is on the road, but still not awful on the road, a 3.23 ERA, 1.11 whip. Gilbert's actually much better on the road than at home. A 4.01 home ERA this year in 14 starts. 2.49 in 11 road starts.
Okay. All right. You're going to do so. Philly's got the 7th most difficult remaining schedule. Seattle has the easiest. If they can, I'm with Von Tobel. They suck. But if they can navigate this week here and go 500, you know what's behind it. Again, they're lousy, but they're only 3 games out. They have 17 games left against the Rockies, A's, and Angels. And it's not like Texas is any good either. And
nobody's good.
Right. These teams are under 500 as well. It's right there for Seattle, only 3 back with that joke schedule. The easiest remaining schedule of baseball.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They're such a disappointment that I have no faith in them, even against that many bad teams. You want to laugh? Wait until you see what they open as for most wins in September. A team that is currently 7 games below 500, they're going to open up at 5-1.
Yeah.
So
you want to ride the Phillies? That's fine. Well, I don't have a problem with that.
And here's one with Bryce Harper, 26 on base streak, game on base streak. He has scored at least 1 run in 10 straight games. Only 6 longer streaks by a Philly in the divisional era. So there's that if you want to play that prop.
Okay. How about Gossman? 1-1 with an ERA of 6.
Last 2 starts bad.
I know. First 3 starts with the Cubs haven't gone well. Big series against Arizona. You mentioned Philly up on San Diego. San Diego's 2 up on Arizona. It's Kelly for the Diamondbacks.
What do we get out of the Cubbies after a 19-2 win yesterday?
Yeah, I would say the bats aren't going to be there. Usually, that's what happens.
PCA is now almost a $2 favorite to win the MVP.
That really jumped. Mm-hmm.
Let me point this out about in this Reds-Giants game. Burns is going for Cincinnati.
Oh, Wissenhunt so bad.
He's terrible.
They got to win this game.
Burns is 14-2 on the year. In the first 5, his mark is 14-3-7. He has allowed 5 earned runs in 3 different starts this year and 24 overall. However, he has allowed 0, 1, or 2 earned runs in 20 of his other starts. So 1 start was 3 earned runs. That's incredible. The Reds have won 18 of his 24 starts this year. The club is 19 games below 500 when anybody else is starting this season. $1.60? We want to do a run like this? They're bad, though, is the only thing. The Reds are bad.
I'm a little concerned because also based on how everyone's like, hey, baseball's easy. Just bet the favorites. What happened Friday?
Right.
Going 15-0. But you see these big favorites here, and it's like everything's pointing to them. Like, how did they lose? Cleveland should win. Cavalli's been great. The Nats should win. Look at that price, though. Rasmussen's won 6 in a row. How does Burns not beat awful Wisenhunt? Mm-hmm. Right? The Twins should beat the A's. Springs is awful. It's just it's going to be a punch in the face card. It feels like.
You want to lay half a run with Burns in the first 5?
I could do that too. That's not bad. Yeah. You want to get there with Robbie Ray? Tatis is hot. Perfect timing. 6 in a row with an RBI. 9 bombs last 17 games.
I'm a little concerned about Ray.
Ashcraft's been good too.
Very good.
Yes. That tells you something though. They're only $1.10 at home in this one.
So Ray has made 3 starts for the Friars, 15 innings, a 4.2 ERA, but a 6.09 expected ERA and a 6.55 FIP. 11 walks, 10 Ks, 3 home runs allowed. Yuck. Ashcraft, his last 2 starts. Complete game, 3 hits, 1 earned, 10 Ks at Miami. That was followed by 8 innings against the Tigers, 5 hits, 1 earned, 4 Ks. He's been brilliant now for 2 straight starts. And he's really had overall kind of a solid season anyway. So how do you balance that? Pharmacist doctor here. Yeah. Ray's been bad. Yeah. Padres have been great.
Yeah. I got to ride the Friars.
Do you think
they're starting to hit? It's everything. Mason Miller's got a 0.48 in his last 18 appearances as well. I know you have you don't want FOMO and you missed out Friday. You want to play Adele props, biting the hand that once fed him. Cleveland against Anaheim. Devers went deep on Friday.
Oh yeah, okay.
You want to play that angle?
You were talking about there with FOMO. Let me give you the quote here from Devers. I have it somewhere.
Because I know we got emails on that too about, hey, Devers going against the Red Sox, take his prop, and then the guy went deep. But here, Adele's going against his former team. Maybe he has a big showing in a big series.
This is the quote from Joe Adele.
Yeah.
The first day I showed up, it was very evident that everybody's here to do their job and to be who they are. Nothing more. And so to come in with just the focus on winning, it's been pretty awesome. Translation, my time in L.A. with the Angels completely stunk.
Okay. So plus 460 to go deep. And you can do some of his props tonight.
After that comment, does he get plunked tonight?
Yeah. But they got to get some support from Messick. This is wild. Like, no one wants this.
Oh, I know. Nobody
all these
at all.
Teams are under 500.
Yep.
Oh, they updated the price. 82.5 now with Will Hill for the AL West Division leader. 82.5 wins.
Blair Rodman on the program next. New book called All About Sports Betting. We'll get into his life as a bettor, how he hasn't had a job since 1985, and what you can expect to find in the book. Coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Really looking forward to this conversation. New book out, all about sports betting. Blair Rodman is the author. Hasn't had a full-time job since 1985. Joins us in studio here to discuss what's in the book and his career in general. Great to meet you, Blair. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm great.
So I think I have this right. You made the prize money 6 times playing at 3 final tables in the 2004 World Series of Poker.
Yeah, that was a good year.
It sounds like it was a good year.
Oh, it was the last year at Binion's, which, these kids, they don't know what they missed. Binion's was great.
Yeah.
And then they moved to the Rio and whatever. But the old-timers they were rotten. They'd steal your eye teeth, but they were entertaining. It was fun back then.
So to the point of where it flips so much now that you got out of it?
Yeah. Yeah, I in 2004, I had to decide between cash games and tournaments, and I picked tournaments because you can make outside money anyway, different ways. And I really like the World Series tournaments, but they're 4 days of 14-hour days, and it's just, I can't do it anymore. I wish I could. The main event's like 8 days. Even the kids complain about that. But it was good while it lasted. I moved on.
Made more than $700,000 overall?
I think my cash is like $2.5 million or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I got $700 for the bracelet.
$700 for the bracelet, and then overall $2.5 in your career playing at the World Series?
Yeah. Well, playing tournaments everywhere.
Okay. And you met, so Anthony Curtis, Mr. Las Vegas advisor, has been on the show many, many times. You met him playing rugby like back in 1980?
Yeah. Rugby's a great sport, and it's a great social sport. So when I got to Vegas in 1980, my birthday, and I found the rugby club, and I met Anthony, and I also met Max Rubin, who's a very well-known blackjack and advantage player. And through them, I met all kinds of people, because when I got here, I loved to gamble and didn't know anything about it. I was an idiot. I used to talk to Anthony. I like playing craps, and he'd laugh at me. And he said, "I'm going to teach you what it's really about." And he did. And I met Stanford Wong. Wong was putting together a casino tournament team. He just liked solving problems. And he said, Anthony said, "I got a good player for you." So we got on that team, traveled around with him for years. And then at the end of 1989 or so, the casino started throwing out the talented casino tournament players.
I was going to say, what was your reaction? What were the conversations like with the team when that first happened?
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, let's move on. And then two of the guys, Alan Brown was one of the main ones. He said, "I got a friend in the government, he's a high-level government programmer, and he thinks he can beat NBA." He says, "You want to get involved?" I said, "Yeah, why not? I got nothing to do now." So we did that, and then it was 10 years of the best 10 gambling years of my career. It was great.
Is that right?
Wow.
So Alan Brown had a friend, awesome with a computer, obviously, like you said.
Yeah.
Reaches out, you want to get involved in betting the NBA, and this is right after the tournaments kind of collapsed because you got kicked out.
Yeah. So, John had been messing around with it, during his government job in his free time, and he said, "I think I can beat this." He started with totals. And I said, "Yeah." So it was John Marana and Alan Brown and myself and Joe Nienaber. Unfortunately, the other three guys have passed away recently, but I'm the last survivor. And then we went on to 10 years of the most fun 10 years of my gambling career. It was great.
What was it like? Because you mentioned in a podcast that I watched recently with Anthony Curtis that those days were 6, 7 months out of the year, 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week, nonstop with the NBA. What was it like grinding out that much basketball before cell phones, before the internet?
Yeah, I liked it so much, and it was interesting learning. The first couple of years were learning years, and we worked real hard, and we weren't sure if we were going to keep going. And then Alan came in one day because information. He said if we had perfect injury information, we would have destroyed them. So how do we get the information? So he came up with something that no one else had ever thought of. We got faxing, clipping services in every city with a team, and they would fax us the sports pages in the morning. And we'd go in at 6 a.m, start reading that day's sports pages, and no one else was getting them. So at that time, we couldn't bet a lot. 34th year when we started betting New York bookies, they wouldn't come up till the afternoon. But we could get injuries and sit on them all day, and no one would find out.
Oh, wow.
We found out Elijah Wan was out one game, and we sat on it all day, and then we just pounded him at 4 o'clock. And it was like, wow. No one had it. Billy didn't have it. No one had him. No one had the injuries we had.
So you were pretty much the only group betting the NBA like that back then?
Yeah, pretty much.
How many books existed in town at the time?
There was quite a few. So we started with two guys. I would go to the Strip, and someone else would go downtown. And I would park at the Mirage and probably do 10 books, and my partner would go downtown and do all the ones down here, including Leroy's and all the ones that aren't there anymore. And so we get like 20 books. And totals I could only bet 300 most places, the Mirage a dime. But there was no Don Best. It was 1989. No one knew. So when we got to betting where we had to bet all we could, I could make three trips around my route, and they would never move the line. So it was great. So I'll never forget this good story. So at the Holiday at the time, I was beating them up, and there was a female sportsbook manager, and she had just got her Don Best screen in like 93 maybe, or whenever they first came out. So I walk in, I look at Knicks. I want the Knicks over 190, and she sees me from the back, she come running out and said, "Hang on a second." And she went to her Don Best screen and changed all the totals on the board. I said, "What do you want to bet now?" And I just said, "Oh, boy, this is the end of it here."
You knew it right there and then?
Man.
What's that?
You knew it right there and then?
Oh, yeah. I said, "This is trouble."
These are all different books with under different ownership?
Yeah.
That's in what a day.
But when they started moving on air, moving without
sure.
taking a bet, it was kind of brutal.
Oh,
so
man.
we found other ways. Then we had to find bookies. Then we ended up going offshore, and outs are the key.
That was back when all those big payphone banks, right? Stardust, other books, obviously, kind of close to the sports book. You guys just had to walk on foot, get over there, be there at this time, and kind of like communicate that way.
Yeah, I went to the Stardust Lottery for a while, trying
Did you?
things.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good story. So when Paul Westhead got hired by Denver, he nobody knew what he was going to do, but he had just come from wherever he come, Loyola Marymount, wherever he went, and run up the score. No one he's going to do. So it's the first day of the season, and Al says, "I want you to go down and I want you to bet over on the Denver as much as you can." So it opened at like 255. I bet 255, got back in line, bet 258, bet 260 something, bet 269. Then I stopped. It went off at like 315.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
And they scored like 320 something. That was crazy. We had like a 70-point middle. And I said, "You want to take the middle?" He's like, "No."
No middle? No middle.
No, it's great.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
What
I
a
don't
time.
remember those days, but oh, my God, it was
I remember
crazy.
him at Marymount, what they did as well.
Yep.
I've lived here for 26 years. Before I got here, I was in Minnesota. I remember buying the USA Today. In the sports section, on the back, it would say, "Hey, my Monday night lock, I'm 90% on the year and all this." And then once I moved here, I'm like, my God, there's touts all over the place in the ads. So what'd you think of how that came out and what you thought a tout was?
The old-time touts were hilarious.
Yeah.
You remember the
Screaming
Sunday,
at
the
'em.
screamers and all this stuff? Yeah, I link, in the book, I have a lot of QR codes that link to articles, link to some of those old things. There's lots of interesting stuff. Lots of the unabated stuff, some Spanky's podcasts, which I thought were great. And yeah, it was interesting. But the touts now, it's of course, changed with the internet. I think the most dangerous tout now are the influencers who are getting their hooks in these kids and convincing them that they know what they're doing and they don't. And the kids a lot of people are getting in trouble. And I read something the other day that really amazed me is I get AARP magazine because I'm old, and seniors are getting in a lot of trouble. And when you lose your money as a senior and lose everything you have, you don't have a way to recover. Really kind of sad.
So are seniors getting duped by young influencers then?
No, they're just getting hooked on betting. You're sitting around, you're bored. I'm retired, but I sit around. That's what I do for entertainment. But these people don't know anything about it, but they got to do something. And all of a sudden they're seeing, DraftKings, FanDuel, blah, 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 do all this stuff. And they get sucked into it without a clue. They could use my book too. Because the purpose of this book is, I love betting sports. I love sweating sports. Mm-hmm. But I do the best I can to cut down or reverse, overturn the house edge as much as possible. And I don't spend 14 hours a day anymore. And, I do it for entertainment, which is what most people should do. My theory is,
right.
If 99% of the people who bet sports and love to bet sports because they like the excitement and everything could break even at the end of the year, they should take it in a minute, which is the goal. I give enough. We progressed through, I wanted to give an entire reference book type of thing with the sports. So I went through all kinds of stuff, and I wanted to tell that story about my group. And then Anthony came and he said, "We need a strategy section." Like, yeah, okay. Do the best I can. I'm not a super genius, but Frank B is. And Frank agreed to come on board, and, he was thinking about writing a book. He'll never get it done. But there's a lot of Frank in this book, in that chapter. We end up with a 100-page strategy chapter.
Yeah, I was going to say, the book, the one chapter is called, it's 97 pages overall.
Yeah. So I wrote about, our group, and we won, obviously. And the next chapter is, If We Won, Can You Win? Which is the title of it. And then we go on, and we give the ways you can. We start with bonuses and bonus strategies, and then, get into top-down and bottom-up betting. And
I want to expand on that because we're up against it here. Blair Rodman's our guest. The name of the book is all about sports betting. Available now. It's going to be dynamite. Anthony Curtis, Frank B, as he mentioned, helped out with the book as well. I want to get into how many quants, computer groups out there, how they basically dictate all the numbers, moving, and everything like that. So what is the right approach then? Handicapping games? You want to go top down? What to do with Blair Rodman coming up next?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue now with Blair Rodman. New book out called All About Sports Betting. Available for you to get today. LasVegasAdvisor.com. LasVegasAdvisor.com. Again, the name of the book is All About Sports Betting. You can follow him on X at Blair Rodman as well. How many influential groups, quants, computer groups do you think exist today in sports betting? Would you just say it's countless?
There's a lot. I mean, the biggest groups, yeah. And, who knows how many they have working. Like Billy used to have 20 or 30 of the best handicappers. Now you got the best guys with AI and doing all these programs. I don't know. But the problem is for the everyday bettor who just, thinks he can get an edge by watching a game. You have no chance. The more advanced it becomes on the pro side, the bigger the gap.
Well, let me ask you this as a follow-up then. because you talked about this briefly in the previous segment, and that is you talk about bottom up and top down. I know some people who exclusively do top down. I don't know if you could take a minute to explain what that is to the audience, and would you tell the people who are listening right now who are at the very beginning stages of betting, like that would maybe be the way to go?
Yeah, the bottom up is handicapping. Making your own line, hopefully making a better line than the casino line or sportsbook line, but that's not going to happen unless you're really advanced. Like our group, our guys were super geniuses, and it worked. And it got to a point where it didn't work anymore. People catch up. You find something that works, it's not going to work forever. So, no, the most successful guys now are top-down guys, which means you play it like a market. You play it like the stock market. You're playing the numbers. Spanky says, I don't know any player on any team. It doesn't matter. It's just a matrix of numbers. So you're trying to find the number one thing is having as many outs as you can. The second most important thing is as much information as you can. Build your information sources. And then you can get an odds screen and shop lines. Getting the best line is worth a lot. I mean, even like I have a baseball out that has, nickel lines, or 10-cent lines, whatever, a dime spread. And I'm finding things there that are just, they're positive just by shopping, comparing to Pinnacle or Circa or whatever. And some books, now, like I think FanDuel or some of the ones, they have, 30 cent or minus 115 lines. You're never going to beat it that way. So having the most number of outs you can have who offer you the most stuff, and your chances of winning are finding what we call derivatives, props, other types of things, not just, Giants -6. Oh, I like the Giants. They played great last week. No, you have teams that are the smartest people in the world that number came because they ironed that number out, and that's what the number should be. So you're not going to beat them that way. You have to find other ways, other bets. But, these books have to put up hundreds of bets. And if they don't, they might lose customers to other books that do. And there are opportunities there. Ed Miller and Matthew Davidoff's books are great for that. They go into great descriptions of how that works.
You've seen several changes in the industry. What do you think about prediction markets?
The legal part of it is so up in the air. Who knows where it's going to end up? Are they good for the everyday bettor? Probably not. If you're taking bets on there, you're not making offers. You're taking bets. With the commission, you probably do better in the sports book. Now, if you're a market maker, then it's a different story. And there's market makers making millions a month putting these things up. There's a guy named Shane Sigsby who started out
Been on the show.
playing poker. Yeah, and now I just read a thing today. He's up to over $2 billion in total, action on prediction markets. They're market makers, and there's so many people. The guys who are smart to make these markets, and they ever I want to bet this, and so many people are on there now. It's amazing. So what the future is, I don't know. It's there's a lot of legal stuff going on, so who knows where it's going to end up.
Doesn't it feel to you like we've gotten to the point of almost no return, where it's going to just stick and stay now?
Maybe, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on. People are like, somebody the other day, there's a fire in the Northeast or Northwest, and somebody says, well, somebody probably bet on that on the prediction market and then started a fire. Who knows? There's a lot of bad stuff going on. I watch UFC a lot, and I'll look on Calci, and it's like at the end of the fight, it'll be 98% to 2%, and then you watch a horrible decision, and like, that raises some flags. So who knows? Right. I mean, there's, the things are built for inside information. You don't have inside information. I tell them, unless you really know what you're doing, do not be a market maker. It's just like, if you're a sportsbook, you're posting lines. You better know what's going on. You better know when the injuries are hitting, because if not, the only time you're going to get filled is when something bad happens.
Sure. Blair Rodman, our guest, book is called All About Sports Betting. What is in the book for pro bettors, guys who are really, really advanced?
Frank stuff. Frank Betty came on. Frank is the sharpest guy I've ever met, and I've met a lot of sharp guys. And the stuff that he does in there, we talk about things that, the standard theory is parlays are horrible. But they're not necessarily. You just got to know how to use them. We have a big section on parlays, how to do it. Same game parlays, not so much, because the books will do with things where they're not sure about, they'll just up the juice. So these books don't really know what the correlation is and all these things. So they say, well, we charge enough juice. Unless somebody's super, super sharp, we're still going to have an edge.
What is your advice for attacking bonuses overall?
We go through that, attacking them, basically long shots. In one word, play long shots. Your goal is to try to lose, but when you win, you're going to win a lot. And the only problem with that is you get a check mark at the book saying this guy's sharp. And one of the keys to lasting at books is trying to act like you're a dummy, which is hard to do sometimes. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, that's, people think, if you're $100 better, you're probably never going to have a problem. If you want to get to the $500 to $1,000 better, it's exponentially harder because now you got the outs problem. Now you got to go offshore. Now you got to deal with agents. Now you got to deal with all the stuff that's a major headache. So, do you really want to get that? A Spanky podcast was great. It's called Winning is Just the Beginning. Okay, you can beat them now. You found ways to beat them. Now where are you going to bet and where are you going to get paid? And the way it's going now, I don't have FanDuel or DraftKings, so I don't know what they do. The books in this town are pretty good about that, but not all of them. But I've heard horror stories of, $100 bettors just getting limited to nothing.
Oh, we've seen the tickets before about how they'll take 19 cents on a certain bet from not a big bettor. You also cover top 10 things that pros do and top 10 things pros avoid in the book. Yeah. That must have been fun to put together.
Yeah, kind of. It's just the basic strategy of, do this, don't do that. I don't remember what they were offhand, but yeah, if you go through that and you learn the key is to finding good bets or finding bets with the lowest house edge possible. And you can do that. Now, like I said, if you want to go lay 110 on an NFL game at, 9:40 in the morning, good luck to you. You're not going to win.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah.
But if you want to find like during COVID, you want to find a Russian ping pong match, you might.
For sure.
Although they were all fixed anyway. But
yeah, no kidding. How about how the changes in contests? And they might get 30,000 here. Yeah. I remember for years it was just the Westgate Super Contest.
I know.
And now how the circus exploded.
Yeah, I know. I remember when the stations came out, when they first did, and you had a winning side and a losing side. If you had the most loser or the worst record, you win a prize.
So Frank won a house, right?
You win a house on both ends. So I went in and signed up, and I was in the bathroom, and I heard this guy saying, "You got to pick winners or losers." And the guy says, "I can't pick losers, man. I pick winners." I was like, "Okay." Yeah. The contests are crazy. They're fun, though. The thing about it is, if you like to bet sports and you want to find things and you don't want to go broke, find something to last a while. Futures, contests are great. And there's contests for, $100, $200. You got a whole season full of, worth of entertainment. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of the keys to enjoying sports betting without going broke. You have to bet every game. Find things that are, you got somebody you're out of town, you got somebody going where there's a sports book. Put a future bet on somebody. You sweat it for the whole year.
Your last job was in 1985?
Yeah, I was a craps dealer off and on. I would get a job, and then if I got a bankroll, I'd quit and play poker. If I went broke, I'd go back to work. But that's when 85 is when I started playing with the casino tournament team. And then I never looked back from there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I can't. Well, you were talking during the break. Did you ever think you'd have to come on and do a PSA about avoid house games with poker after what's gone on and how shady the games are with house poker games?
The technology is so advanced now, it's so easy to cheat. And I don't know. I don't trust them. I don't trust for home games. I don't trust internet poker anymore. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. So if you're going to play in a home game, you better really know who you're playing with. And, there was a cheating scandal at the Venetian in the poker room. And that's,
Sunglasses related or
it was this little thing, looks like a pack of cigarettes.
Okay.
That catches the cards as they're being dealt.
Oh, my God.
And then you got an earpiece, you got somebody out in the
truck.
truck.
Oh, my God.
So now they're going to sliding the cards instead of pitching them.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is better because they never get in the air, so you can't see underneath. You can't catch the card.
That's incredible.
That is so
the technology out there that people think of, and then they can actually execute it.
Oh, yeah. They used to do a thing with radiation. To put radiation in a card, and you have a little Geiger counter on your knee, and it was... I mean, there's a lot of smart people out there.
Sure.
You're certainly one of them. Follow him on X, @Blair Rodman. Go to LasVegasAdvisor.com. That's the website to get his new book called All About Sports Betting. Frank with a section in there as well. Anthony Curtis helped out. Blair, great to meet you. Thanks so much. Best of luck with the book.
Thanks, guys. It's great being here.
Thank you, sir.
Up next, we'll hit a little Major League Baseball. He is held. We'll tell you which team has been held scoreless in 3 of his last 5 starts coming up next.